Hello, everybody. It is Liz with Abyss, and we have Stephen tonight to talk about his cryptid Bigfoot. So,
Hello, everybody.
if you will, before we get started, go ahead and give us a like, a share, and let everybody know about the shows. Is how educational it is because it is. um, so, before we get into actually Bigfoot. Stephen, let's remind everybody or tell people who might just be joining us what a cryptid is.
A cryptid is a creature that people have seen or have had sightings of, but can't be scientifically proven.
Okay. All right. And so everybody knows about Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
So, what did you find out about Bigfoot, Stephen?
Oh my gosh. um, Bigfoot's I found out that Bigfoot is. It's hard to tell exactly where it starts from. I think a lot of it comes from the Himalayas and the abominable snowman and the Yeti and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But there seems to be similar stories and similar creatures all over the world. And even in various different time periods, there are similar characters. Like in Europe, there's a wild man and wild women and wild people where um, they're portrayed almost as if they have foliage all over them.
Ooh, I bet they're kind of pretty.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like the Green Man thing.
Yeah. So, what was the earliest reported sighting that did you find, or did you find anything about it? And like, where was it? Like, that's kind of the question I'm trying to get at. It's like, if we're not real sure where it originated, where was the first sighting?
One of the oldest in America is from 1924 on July 16, and happened at an area that's called Ape Canyon. So the reason why it's called Ape Canyon is because there are stories about Bigfoots there.
Oh, okay. So in 1924, was it called Ape Canyon at that time, or was it named Ape Canyon after the first sighting? Or do you know?
I'm just going to read you what I wrote.
Okay.
An article in the Oregonian made national news when a story was published describing an encounter between gold prospectors and a group of 8 men in a gorge near Mount St. Helens. The group claimed they encountered guerrilla men near their camp. One of them, named Fred Beck, claimed he shot one of the creatures. These creatures supposedly threw rocks at their cabin, damaging the roof and knocking Fred Beck unconscious. The men fled the area, and then later on, the U.S. Forest Service investigated the area, but they didn't find anything there, so they concluded that it was fabricated.
Oh.
And there had been similar stories in the area of creatures living there for centuries, and the area is known now as Ape Canyon.
Okay, so the supposed sighting happened before it was ever named. Okay.
And I think there have always been stories of similar forest creatures and forest monsters and stuff like that,
Right.
as well.
Now, Mount St. Okay, you said the Oregonian. So, so it was in the Northwest Pacific then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's up by Mount St. Helen.
Which was, and the reason why I'm asking, because it feels like almost like this thing should be coming from the Appalachians, you know?
One of the first sightings that specifically referred to as Bigfoot happened in 1958. In 1958, Jerry Crew, a bulldozer operator for a logging company in Humboldt County, California, discovered a set of large 16 inches human-like footprints in mud in the Six Rivers National Forest. Have even seen similar tracks at previous other jobs as well. And they also told really weird incidences like an oil drum weighing 450 pounds was being moved around. And then from there, they gave the name, this thing, they called it Bigfoot.
Okay, so they basically named it according to what they saw.
Mm-hmm. Later on, a reporter named Andrew Ginzoli of Humboldt Times newspaper, he interviewed many lumber workers and had a plaster cast made of one of the footprints. And Jerry Crew was pictured in one article holding up one of the casts, and this was around October 6, 1958.
Okay.
Okay. But later on, in 2002, one of the guys that worked there, his family later on discovered after he died that he had a collection of carved wooden feet stored in his basement. And he was supposed to have been inspired by another hoaxer who was named Rant Mullins. And he claimed that he was responsible for being in the video of Patterson Gibson's film around October 20th, 1967, around Bluff Creek in Northern California. And that's the really famous video where Bigfoot's walking across.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know which one that is though, because there were so many of them. But like, was it a river or going up a mountain or something? Do you know which video it was?
Yeah, I think it's right by a river. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know you said he was at the river. I just didn't know, what was he captured in the river? Like, is that the video? Okay, then I know. I think I know which one you're
I
talking
think
about
so.
then.
The really old one. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's this one.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, right. Okay. So I'm sorry. I'm putting the timeline together. So that picture was taken like in the 70s, but in 2002, then it was discovered that somebody dressed up and did that. Is that what I understood right?
There was at least somebody that had feet that they made, and they were making
Okay, and so
prints,
this
it
guy
looked
was
like.
found to have all those wooden. Gotcha.
Yeah. And this guy, I think some people kind of knew that they may have known that he was making it up, because he actually claimed that he was going to sue people that were accusing him of doing this. He claimed that he captured a young Bigfoot and was feeding it frosted flakes. and stuff like that.
That'd be so awesome. You're just sitting there and going, more berries, please. Put some berries in my cereal.
So what I found kind of makes it out to be kind of a hoax.
Okay, so what you're saying then is all of these possible sightings or whatever, your proclamation is that it is a hoax.
At least
Oh, okay.
one was.
I thought you were saying, so basically it's a hoax, you know. Okay. All right. So, well, what else did you find out that's more recent though? I mean, if that one was a hoax and we got all these new video footage coming out and these pictures coming out and really clear ones at that, um, I mean,
Well, I don't know. I also read that it's possible that they could be misidentified as, for example, like black bears. And black bears can in fact walk on their hind legs.
yeah, but I mean, would they reach the height of what supposed Bigfoot is? Like, what is it, 6, 7, 8 feet? Are they about the same, you know?
They're about 8 to 9 feet tall.
Oh, okay. I guess it could be.
One theory is that they actually could be escaped apes and chimps and gorillas that are
And
now
it basically evolved to something bigger.
Yep, or that they live out in the forest and that's what people are seeing. That's one view. There have also been people that have been mistaken as Bigfoot and shot at. There was one incident that occurred in 2013. A 21-year-old man in Oklahoma was arrested for shooting his friend accidentally while trying to look for a Bigfoot.
So he didn't mistake him for being Bigfoot.
Yeah, they were both looking for Bigfoot, and I guess he accidentally
Okay, so
shot his
he didn't
friend.
mix them up then. Okay.
Yeah, that's a different. But I read of other similar things happening where people are homeless and living out in the woods and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that every Bigfoot incident is
right.
that. I don't really.
So, let me think here. I had a question. I lost it.
Some people claim that Bigfoot could be related to. Have you ever heard of pareidolia?
I have. Pareidolia, and I think it's whenever they don't have any hair on their body.
No, it's like when you see human faces and figures.
Oh, I always thought that was called matrixing.
The environment.
Why am I confusing that with that hair disease thing? Okay. So, yeah, I still heard of it, but yeah. So that theory then lends to the idea that it's just a man who has I don't even know how to say it now.
It would lend to the idea that people are seeing something, but it's more of a trick of their imagination. Okay. So if you're approaching it from more of a skeptical point of view, I think. Yeah,
I gotcha. So technically there would be nobody out there. They're just matrixing that out of tree bark or something then.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there any relation or correlation between Bigfoot and Yeti? I know you said, there were so many different stories that there's no real origin, so to speak, but you did mention Yeti when you were saying that. And so is there an actual relation between the two?
I really don't know. I think that they might be.
Okay.
But the Yeti's more the creature and as it exists in the Himalayas and in Tibetan culture. Like I even read a little bit about a supposed scalp of one, the Yeti scalp of Kuming Ying, which is in a Himalayan monastery and is claimed to be a piece of a centuries-old abandoned abominable snowman. But according to what I read, it most likely is also a fake.
Okay. So what about any... okay, so like where did the other names come from? So for instance, we were talking about Missouri being, like Momo, but we know that like Jonathan with Crossover calls it Pogo, I think, So where did we start coming up with all these different names rather than just focusing on one? Or did you find anything on that?
I didn't find anything on that. I looked up some stuff about the skunk ape,
right,
which is mostly around Florida and possibly Louisiana and that area in there. Some people refer to skunk ape as Bigfoot's cousin.
Okay. Do you remember that what she was talking about there? Vicky said in our group chat, she shared a video, I guess, a Bigfoot skull. And do you want me to share that and let the viewers see it? Okay, give me a second here,
Sure.
okay? I'm going to go into Messenger. You can keep talking if you have anything else. I'm just going away for a second. Like you could, okay, so you can probably see me just fine, but I can't see you guys right now, so. See, I didn't realize that there was a video. I thought I saw.
I remember seeing the video of the
That
fight
I
in the
remember too,
trees.
but I thought it was a picture she shared. Oh, there it is, right there. Okay. Nope, that is what I saw. Hold on. I'm gonna pause it and then I'll start screen sharing. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, can you guys see that? Steven?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
It's not very big.
Okay, give me a second. Let me change the okay. Now is that big to you?
Yep.
Okay.
Huh. Where was that discovered at?
Hold on. Wait a second. See if they say it.
You still there, Liz?
Yep, hold on. I'll stop sharing. Okay. Yeah, I'm still here. I was just playing that video. Oh, Vicky said she can see, but no video showing. No, not showing video. Did you see the video?
I didn't see a video playing, but I saw like the skull you showed. Was that
Oh,
a video or was that a picture?
yeah, I had it playing that whole time. I was just very quiet because I thought it was playing to you
Oh,
guys. So apparently it wasn't playing at all. Ruben, did you see it playing on yours? Why didn't you say something? You're sitting right here.
I was waiting for it to play,
You could hear that it was playing on my computer. Oh my lord.
but we're behind.
Oh, are you? Okay, well, I apologize for that, everybody. I don't know how long I let that play for before finding out it wasn't playing for you at all. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not going to start it over, Vicky, because I'm just going to mess it up probably. But it was playing on for me. That's why I'm so confused. I'm so sorry, guys. Sorry, Steven. I didn't know it wasn't playing for you. I guess you just thought I was sitting here not saying anything for 10 minutes. Sorry. So okay, so did you find anything else out?
in this book I have Mysteries of the Unexplained. In 1889, Lawrence Austin Waddell of Indian Army Medical Corps found large footprints in the Himalayan snows at 17,000 feet. In his book Among the Himalayas in 1899, he wrote, "These were alleged to be the trail of hairy wild men who are believed to live among the eternal snows, along with the mythical white lions whose roar is reputed to be heard during storms. The belief in these creatures is universal among Tibetans." Okay, there's something in here about Theodore Roosevelt was no pushover for a tall tale, but he was impressed by a story he encountered in his book, The Wilderness Hunter, published in 1893. The incident, which had occurred many years before, was related to Roosevelt, as the later wrote, by grizzled, weather-beaten old mountain hunter named Bauman, who was born and passed all his life in the frontier. He must have believed what he said, for he could have hardly repressed a shudder at certain points of the tale. When the event occurred, Bauman was still a young man and was trapping with a partner among the mountains, dividing the forks of the Salmon from the head of the Wisdom River. Not having much luck, he and his partner determined to go up into a particular wild and lonely pass through which ran a small stream said to contain many beaver. The pass had an evil reputation because the year before a solitary hunter who had wandered into it was there slain, seemingly by a wild beast, half-eaten remains being afterwards found by some mining prospectors only the night before.
Okay. So, okay, that's probably enough of that. But okay, so to
Sorry.
summarize, no, it's okay. So just summarize that story for us real quick. That was a lot to take in without actually reading it. You know what I mean?
So I guess around late 1800s, they found a corpse of a man that was half eaten.
Okay. And he was just an average sized man and all that. Like there was nothing spectacular about him. Okay.
Yep.
So, I mean, could we say that it was possibly a bear or like a cat or something like that?
Yeah.
But the people who found, oh, my computer's dying, Rue.
But this guy claims that he encountered some kind of human-like being or creature.
Oh, like when he stumbled upon the body?
Later on, he claimed that he saw an ape-like man.
Okay, gotcha. So what do you think about the stories? Like, so Vicky, remember the other night she told us a story that she heard about, I guess, like this preacher who was talking about how people who recently were claiming that they had saw, hey Joe, Bigfoot sightings, whatever. And he was talking about how they were crazy or whatever. And then supposedly he himself then encountered one in his yard. So, and he changed everything. Like he would go to church and preach his new sermon of accepting people, don't judge people type situation because he was wrong. So what about stories like that?
I don't know. I would assume that they encountered something.
Okay. I'm going to have Ruben take over for a minute. Okay. I'm not feeling the greatest. So give me just
Sorry,
a second.
Liz.
No, it's not your fault. My stomach's been hurting all day, and I came home and I ate, and I just don't feel right. So hold on.
Hey,
Hello.
Ruben.
Hey, I'm in charge now, boy. You better watch out. I'm just kidding. So, one of the things that you were talking about is like they're pretty tall, like 8 or 9 feet tall, right? There's a lot of like tales in the past of like giants roaming the earth and stuff. What if this is just kind of like a miniature version of them kind of interbreeding with us puny humans? You know?
Could be. I mean,
And
maybe it could be a distant memory of Neanderthals or something like that. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe people are encountering something.
Yeah. I think that I think the Bible talks about giants. I think they called them Nephilims or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The Anunnaki story talks about them being monstrously huge. There's all kinds of mythology that points to a bigger thing being on Earth. Yeah, well, even David and Goliath in the Bible, you know.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's the whole Bigfoot thing. I've always, well, you know, I'm a skeptic about everything. So, but I did watch this show one time where they were up in somewhere up north. You know, like in almost above Canada. I want to say like way up, like in the north part of Canada, and there was all these trees that had clearly been ripped out of the ground and then shoved into the ground upside down. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is, you know, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is the Bigfoot, you know, yanking things." Because I've heard, and this is just with my limited knowledge of them, but I've heard that they like to eat roots of stuff, like that's their thing. So a lot of people have been like, "Oh, you know, this whole weird display up here was probably Bigfoot." It's a weird one. If you ever seen it, you'd be freaked out because it's just literally trees that are like they had to have been
In the
like,
ground, upside down.
yeah, they were ripped out of the ground and shoved into the ground. Like, I mean, I can't even see some of our modern equipment doing that. It's crazy. Like the top had been obviously broke off or something, but um, yeah, it's some weird stuff. That's the only thing that makes me wonder if like see, like when people talk about cryptids, I think of we just haven't discovered them yet. I mean, sometimes we'll go in a submarine and we'll discover a new type of fish or something. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering sometimes if maybe there's some kind of gorilla like species that we haven't encountered or that we've barely encountered and kind of have our stories about, but they're so anti-social or xenophobic that they don't interact with us, you know?
Yeah, I've always wondered about that too.
Yeah.
Or
And
other species of humans existing with us. That's what I've always wondered about too.
well, there was, so I don't know if they were completely human-like, but there was a type of monkey in Europe somewhere where they found this cave where this monkey type species would take all of its dead to bury. And they would make this trek, obviously without the lights we have, but it was a pretty dangerous trek. And they would bury their dead like in a ritualistic manner. There's just graves all over this cave of this type of species. And one of the things that was really cool and like what made the archaeologists say, hey, this species obviously had some kind of thought about life after death, because one of the graves they actually buried a young member of the species with a tool. And, you know, kind of like, you'll need this in the next life kind of thing. So, I mean, I almost wonder if, like, because people are like, well, why haven't we seen a dead Sasquatch or whatever? Maybe they bury their dead like we do, you know? It's not far-fetched. And I mean, I'm not saying that they're there. I'm just saying that we know that there are tribes in the Amazon that have never been exposed to anyone outside of the Amazon. It's not too far-fetched to think that there could be a species of monkey / man, whatever, that could have, you know, just eluded us. So
Yeah, but that'd be pretty hard, and you know, people claim to see them here, so I don't know.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're that big though, like, you'd kind of be apex, right? So I don't think you would really care, you know, about, you wouldn't really fear walking through the woods, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you may just be, that just may be your disposition. You don't care for other interactions with species, you know? You like to eat what you eat and do what you do, you know? Like, they've got games they play or whatever, who knows? They could have pastimes. But I mean, I noticed the one thing I've seen that's consistent across all of these videos, and like you said, there are hoaxes, of course. But the consistent thing I think I've seen is that they don't acknowledge other people, really. They do their thing. It seems like if they feel threatened or cornered, that's when it gets real and they start throwing rocks. But other than that, I mean, they just kind of do their own thing. Yeah.
I've heard that too. The
Yeah.
dimensional beings thing.
Yep. I mean, that could be too, because I mean, the only thing that keeps me from falling through this floor and through the earth is that I'm vibrating at one frequency, and it's the same frequency that the earth and the floor is vibrating at. So if there is some other kind of entity vibrating at a different frequency, it could walk right through you or not even be seen or pop into vision for a second. And, you know, like, because technically we're so much space, the distance between atoms is so big that really, like, if we were not at the same frequency, we wouldn't repel the table that I'm sitting at or the chair that I'm sitting on. So we would literally just through something, you know, which might be weird. If we're at another frequency, I don't know that gravity really would affect us either. There may be some other force, who knows? But I mean, it all gets pretty theoretical, but I do agree that there could be cryptids, I'll use that word, that are multidimensionals. One of the things discovered in the 90s, have you heard of the rods?
No.
Okay, so this, and this is along the multidimensional thing. This photographer was taking pictures of this cave. It's like a cave that's like, I don't know, 100 feet down. Well, it's more like a well. Anyway, some people were doing, what do they call it when they rope down? Rappelling. Some people were rappelling down this hill, and a photographer was taking pictures. Well, then he starts taking a video, and he notices some kind of blur or something. So he slows his video down, and he's like, what in the world is this? And it's some kind of rod that has, like, little wings on it, kind of, just spinning, goes from one side of the earth to the other, goes right through it, and just keeps on going. And hi, and there's Shaw
Woman.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm off topic, babe. Anyway, but the point being is that they're not really. I mean, they have to be in some kind of a shift from frequency to be able to go through things solid. But we've actually seen them. It's actually documented, and so we know that there are entities that do fly through solid matter, and we call them rods because we don't really have a better word for them. But like we literally recreated that. That's the scientific standard to be able to recreate.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. I know what you're talking about, Ruben.
Yeah. So if Bigfoot happens to show up in some of our videos, I mean, I think it'll happen more. I mean, think about how many millions of people are out there with cameras now. You know, I mean,
but I think Bigfoot would be a physical thing. It'd be a physical being. It wouldn't be like something that just appears and disappears and everything like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think though that as many cameras are out there, that there's going to be a lot more things showing up that we're like, what is that? I know that I think Liz mentioned it before, but some video this lady was taking, and there was some kind of weird thing between the dresser and the wall.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
she was just doing her own little video, not really thinking anything of it. But I mean, the more that we have that, the more that it's gonna be happening because there's so many videos pointing at stuff. We're gonna see stuff, So any people that are out there on hikes, make sure you have your phones out. You never know what you might catch. It might be like the video that proves it, and you're just like, well, look at this. This is the one. And they could name it after you.
I watched this show where this Bigfoot appeared, and then some kind of werewolf figure appeared, and then they could speak telepathically, and this person was freaked out by it. And it was an interdimensional Bigfoot thing, too. Because then later they disappeared. And that's kind of a new idea to me. I've never heard of that idea until I watched that.
I think the whole concept of, I think people dismiss the whole concept of telepathic speech, but I really don't. I don't think it's that far off. I mean, Vicky is empathic. She picks up on people's emotions. I mean, speech is just an expression of our thought. So I don't feel like it's going to be a far reach that someone should be able to, interpret someone else's thoughts as, communication. But I think it'd be cool. Like, honestly, if someone popped out of nowhere and started talking to me in my head, I'd be like, neat.
Yeah, it would be neat, but I would wonder if they were even real. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'd be that guy. I'd be like, I'm thinking of a number. See if you can figure it out. But yeah, I'm sorry. So, what other things about Bigfoot did you find out?
I didn't really discover anything else. That's it.
Yeah, I know that there are like entire shows.
Sorry, guys.
Huh?
Sorry.
No, it's fine. There's in any kind of topic like this, I'm sure there's probably a sparsity of reference. I mean, it sounds like you did quite a bit of digging. I mean, especially to find a story involving Theodore Roosevelt. I mean, that's pretty cool.
I thought it was interesting learning how Bigfoot got its name. Like, I didn't know that the Bigfoot name was from California. It came from that area.
Really?
The association of it as having big feet came from there.
Well, I mean, it's
And then
kind of
later,
one of those.
then
One of
later
the
on, that
underdog
was, according to some sources I read, a hoax.
So Shaolin woman says that Momo is supposed to have had fewer digits on their feet, but they could be a mutation that they had in an accident. That's true too. The Yeti is popular.
The
I've
Yeti
actually-
is the one. The Yeti is the one that's in the Himalayas.
Yeah, on Paranormal Caught on Tape, I've actually seen like this pretty convincing video of a quote Yeti chasing a car. And yeah, it was a car full of Russians, and of course, being Russians, they were like sitting there trying to decide whether they wanted to slow down and start some crap with it or
They're gonna fight it.
no. I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. But no, they were in a vehicle and they got out of there, and but it was pretty crazy looking. But it had white fur. The one that they were looking at. I also seen one. I'm sorry, what?
I think so. Like the ones in the Himalayas are thought of as having white fur.
Yeah. I also seen a video of some it was in Utah, so of course they were they've got mountains there and everything, but they were out in their front yard having a good time in a snow day, and they see this giant ape looking thing on the side of the hill, and it like makes tracks like up this hill like it was nothing. And so they're like, well, we're going to go find, because they exactly marked it with their video camera. They're like, okay, it was standing right there. So they went up there, they climbed up this mountain to this point, and from their perspective, they're looking at the humans, and the humans are like probably, I don't know, probably 3 foot shorter than this thing. And because they were like a lot smaller. And so then they found the reference line and they measured it, and it was like 2.5 feet short. They were taller than the tallest guy there. As close as they could measure it with the video camera and everything. But the thing to me though was, yeah, that's really tall. But this thing went up this mountain like it was just taking a walk down a path. I went in the snow. I was like, man, they didn't find any tracks though. That was what
they didn't. Oh wow.
No, like no tracks. So, but it was a pretty convincing video. If it was a fabrication, they did a good job. There's a lot of videos, and that was of course on Paranormal Caught on Tape. Me and Liz watched that quite a bit. But yeah, definitely. I feel like there could be different spin-offs, just like there was Homo sapiens and Neanderthals and whatever.
Yep.
It's not hard to think that if there is a giant ape, whether it's cognitive or not, it could have several different subspecies. Just like fat wiener dogs versus tall greyhounds. They're all a dog, but they all got their own characteristics.
Skunk ape is thought of as having red bushy hair. It's thought of as being smelly. Some people have said that it might be a bear that has mange or something like that. That's a naturalistic explanation for it.
I was going to say, is skunk ape, they literally call it because it stinks, or was there something about it?
That's the reason why.
Yeah.
Maybe they're aquatic. Huh.
Yeah, they could be aquatic. That would make really good sense because there's so much under the ocean we haven't even discovered. There's some scary crap there, though. I mean, they recently found this giant spider thing that freaked me out. There's no way I'm ever going near the deep ocean.
Where's that at?
It I think it's called the Madrick Trench, something trench. The one that's like the deepest part of the ocean. Anyway, there's this trench that goes like way down in the ocean, and there's all kinds of weird fish. There's like that fish that has the single light bulb hanging, like on Nemo. But this was called some kind of spider lobster, and it was like a crab, but it was white, and it was a giant spider, like probably 6 feet tall. And I was like, no. No, definitely. I mean, even if you look at an octopus, they're kind of alien looking as it is. Marinara trit. I cannot pronounce that for the life of me. Can you read that, Steve? I've got my glasses off.
Marinara?
It's like on the tip of my tongue what it's called.
Rihanna? Yeah, I can't read
Where?
Right here. Mariana.
Yeah, Mariana.
Mariana Trench. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not as great as Liz is at this.
You're actually more than me.
Yeah, the Mariana's Trench. Mariana Trench. Yeah, so they've got like some scary stuff down there.
It's not called a Mariana, isn't it called something else?
No, it is. It's called the something Mariana Trench. Now I'm going to get all paranoid about how I'm pronouncing it, but also they were in a sub, like they weren't completely in the. There we go, Mariana Trench. Mariana Trench. He made it all capitals so I could see it. They were down there and they were in a submarine and they weren't even in the trench because we can't even really go to the bottom of it. And they seen this giant fish that was not a whale, but it looked evil, and they got out. so I think there's a lot more cryptids out there than, I mean, even the ones of legend. You know?
I see what you're talking about. In the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
It's that great big like divide of rock.
There's it's where two plates have separated, and it's I think it's like the closest to being through the crust you could go. Let's see here. I found some doctor in Stillville. Big
Stillville?
With an alleged Bigfoot skeleton, but somebody sent it off to the Smithsonian and never been seen. I've heard of things disappearing at the Smithsonian, Charlemagne. Don't know what it is about it, but like I've heard that there's well, for example, there was these discs that they found. Archaeologists found these like clay discs, and they were sent to the Smithsonian to be analyzed. And then 40 years later, somebody found them sitting in a box, and they're like, "Oh, look, we've got these clay discs." It's like they need a better filing system or something. Like, I don't know what they're doing out there, but they need to, if they're going to be considered a world-renowned research facility, they need to bring it. Yeah. But yeah, I'd never heard of the Momo until recently. And I think the Canadians even have a different name for them, don't they?
Oh, I don't know. I can look it up.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I watched this show called Trailer Park Boys, and they were always calling them something. Can't remember what it was. Sand squash. Yeah.
Yes, sand squash.
Bubble spoke. I don't think it was.
Oh.
They call him Sasquatch.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's just the way the character was speaking. I mean, And that was horribly stereotyping. And I
Yeah.
know that all Canadians don't say A, you know.
Going deep, deep.
But I did have to laugh when Brian said A the other night on the interview with Liz. Let's see here. Might we use the giant skeleton or a Bigfoot? Yeah, and I have heard of them finding like giant skeletons recently. I think like within the last giant skeletons buried by each other. And it could be that, you never know, you know. But the skeletons looked human. I mean, they obviously didn't have hair and skin and whatever, you know. Could be Bigfoot. Yeah. There are a lot of people that are really into hunting for Bigfoot. And one of these days, I know that somebody, probably from Missouri, will come out toting a Bigfoot's head and just be like, look at what I bagged, boys. So.
Okay, the term Sasquatch was turned by a man who's named J.W. Burns in around 1929. And he lived and worked with a group of Native Americans around British Columbia.
Yeah. Yeah, Shaolin, and that's what I'd said earlier, Nephilim. I don't know if that's strictly a Bible reference.
And apparently the Sasquatch word, it's an English version of Native American people in Canada. I'd have to look up where British Columbia is. Isn't that in Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where that comes from. Yeah.
Yeah, Jethro. Shaolin.
According to this guy, J.W. Burns, he believed that they lived in tunnels under the mountains, is what he believed.
That would make a lot of sense of why they're not seen much. I mean, if they're kind of cave dwelling and, you know, subterranean even. I mean, maybe they only come out to find a tree to turn upside down or something, you know. But if they eat roots, like, I mean, that's kind of cool. You know, and they're vegetarians. That makes me feel better inside. I don't know about you.
Yeah, but some of the accounts I read say they eat humans or meat.
He said that they supposedly found that body.
I'm just saying, if I'm out in the woods and a Sasquatch gets me, I'm gonna make sure he has indigestion. He's gonna be like, I shouldn't have ate that furry human.
And that was a story from around the late 1800s. So this was a story that Theodore Roosevelt knew about. So
yeah, Theodore Roosevelt was he the one? I don't know.
I didn't really read a lot about modern stuff. Maybe I should have.
I like the older stuff though, because I feel like there's more getting to the root of things.
I wanted to know, like, where did the term Bigfoot come from, and where did this come from? One interesting thing I've heard is that in Utah, in some Mormon lore, Bigfoot is thought of as being Cain.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah, that is a very interesting take.
I mean, in the Bible, he was cursed with a mark, which could be furriness. Who knows? And then he was But it doesn't say anything about him being immortal, though. I think that's, or does it say anything about immortal?
I don't think so.
I know he's cursed to walk the earth with a mark, but I don't know if it was meant forever or not. But
I don't know.
yeah, I think it's an interesting take. I think I'll definitely look into that. That's actually pretty cool, Steve. You found some really neat stuff. I definitely, I know Liz does too, but I definitely appreciate how hard you research these topics and all of the information that you have. Sure, carry lots of vegetables and hamburgers, Vicky. The only problem is I'll throw the vegetables away to get the weight down and eat the hamburgers myself. I'll be out of luck.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if Bigfoot's real or not. It very well possibly could be real. But to me, this is just my point of view. To me, once you make Bigfoot a multi-dimensional being that reappears and disappears, to me, it's gradually becoming where it's almost unreal. It's almost like, I don't know.
It's not
Yeah.
within the realm of possibility.
It's not a physical creature you're looking for anymore. It's almost like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Where I've always thought of it as more of a creature, something that's real, something that could be tangibly found.
well, I mean, here's another take too.
Yeah.
It's like,
and to me, a lot of the videos I've seen, it's almost like people are taking a fine comb and trying to look for something, and then you're looking at it and it's just brush. To me, it looks like, I don't know. Or even in that video where the guy is on a balcony and he's looking up and he sees something fighting in the trees. You don't exactly see what it was. You can tell maybe it's big because it's knocking down a bunch of limbs, but you don't see what it is. I mean, it could possibly be apes that escaped the zoo and now they live outside. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, there's along those lines, there was somebody, they interviewed some guy that works in the sewers in New York.
Alligator.
Like, you gotta be careful because he's like, there's boa constrictors, there's alligators. They're like, he's like, people get these pets and they flush them down their toilet and they grow up.
Yep.
And you never know. I mean, also there's also the isolation effect. Like there could be a really big ridge isolating these animals and they've interbred to the point where they're just huge. They found a cavern where they had been, this scorpion had been isolated to the point where it didn't have any eyes anymore because it lived in darkness for so many generations. Yeah,
those fish.
And these scorpions were lethal in the dark, like, so there's always a possibility of a separated thing. There's an island, and I think it's off the coast of Italy. They have this yellow snake that is just the deadliest snake in the world, and it's just all over this island but nowhere else in the world. And the problem is that these snakes like to hang out in the tree and just fall on people and bite them. So it's now completely off limits. But
they're not falling on people by accident.
I mean, I don't know if it's an accident or on purpose, but
I actually do have a Yeti though. Look.
He's cute.
Show him my
show Liz's favorite part.
Where is Liz? Why'd she
Yeti's got
disappear?
cake. She's sitting on the
I'm not
couch.
getting back on in case I have to go
She's
up
not
again.
feeling well.
Oh,
She's been calling Ralph on the big white phone. So
oh man,
yeah,
you're still feeling sick?
Something I ate, I think.
something she ate probably. And I mean, I cooked last night. It could be that. I try hard, but apparently I don't know measurements. So, but,
All right, guys, that's all I have. I don't really
well,
have.
it has been an hour, so I'm gonna try to figure out how to end
I
this. Oh,
wish
there's
I
a
did
button.
have proof, but maybe that's part of the mystery about it, is there isn't proof.
I think it's neat as an adult to have something whimsical to think about. You know, I think it's always neat.
And maybe certain things were hoaxes, but certain ones weren't. Who knows? I mean,
And that's the problem with anything. Whenever people start faking stuff, it destroys credibility. And we could do a whole show on.
yeah, I'm of the opinion that if you're starting to fake that something's real, you're kind of going against what you are trying to do. I don't know.
So
I would
like,
rather if I would rather come on the other side and be, you know, a skeptic than do that. To me, that would be more. You're to me, if you create fakes, you're kind of defeating what you really wanted to do. I don't know.
yeah, I'm a huge skeptic, but then there's a little tiny piece of me that hopes that I'm wrong.
I'm I'm kind of skeptical too, as you guys probably can tell. Um, but if something is real, it will be real no matter what your beliefs are about it really, right?
Well, yeah, and I mean,
Mhm.
I know that eventually we're going to figure this out because we're intruding on so much forest daily that eventually, if they're hiding, we're going to run out of space. They're going to run out of space, and then it's just going to be, a human was ripped apart by a Sasquatch in New Illinois today. you know, police picked up his limbs and tried to put him back together, but now we know that they're real because we're running out of space. We're running everybody out of their homes. I mean, raccoons have now developed a symbiotic relationship with humans because they have nowhere to live, so they live in our dumpsters. You know,
Yeah.
and I
And
mean,
possums.
I know that a lot of people don't like possums, but I think they're adorable.
I think they're cute.
I mean, they do this weird thing where they show their teeth and hiss, but like if you can get past that, they're pretty cute. But all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and say good night and thank you, Steve, again, and we will see you Thursday with another topic.
Nope.
No,
What
Monday.
what topic do you guys want to do?
Monday.
So I'm coming back on the show Monday,
Uh-huh.
regular show. Okay.
Okay.
At 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Okay, and Liz will be doing a regular show on Monday at 6 p.m. What topic do you want to do?
No, I won't have a topic. I bring on a special. Do you even watch our
On
show?
Thursday. He's asking what topic you want to do.
Okay.
Do
Oh,
you
not
want to do
this
mermaids
Thursday, but
or
the next Thursday.
Yes, it's 2
I remember,
Thursdays.
remember
Yes.
last time you said you wanted to do mermaids and sirens and stuff like that.
Anything that has to do with the Odyssey, totally cool in my book.
Do you guys want to do that? Would you guys be interested in something like that?
Yep, that's Liz gave you the thumbs up.
Okay.
So, all right, 2 weeks from now from today, on Thursday at 6 p.m., we will have Steve back with his big brain.
And then Monday, 6 p.m.
And then Monday
I'll
at
be
6
on
p.m., Liz will be on with a new guest who's a mystery guest
until the night of.
until the night of. I will talk to you guys later. And thank you all and have a good evening.